Hey everybody, welcome back to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Minimalist Run. And we had just gone into the Death Mountain crater, where it's pretty much so hot that we need the red Goron tunic to actually survive here. Now, obviously you needed the hookshot from Kakariko Village to even get any further, at least coming from this angle, from this path. I think if you came in from up top, like you went through that whole route of dodging the fireballs from above from volcanic eruptions, I think you'd have another route to get here and you wouldn't need the hook shot. But I usually come this route every time, so I don't really remember the other route at all. So, as before with the Forest Temple, you get to meet Sheik in front of the Fire Temple here, and she, or he, who knows at this point, teaches you a new melody which will warp you to this area, so you no longer have to go the hard route to get to the center of the crater. And there's a hookshot target and a small platform in the middle of the lava right over there, and I don't really remember ever going down there before. And of course I don't do so in this playthrough because I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just kind of mindlessly just going straight to the entrance of the temple. So I don't know what's down there. I don't think anything really important. Anyway, out of all the songs of warping, this has probably got to be my most favorite tune, the Bolero Fire. It's just so emotional and thematic. I really like the Bolero Fire. My favorite tune in this game, really. How convenient. We come to get a little closer to Sheik here to see what she's all about, and all of a sudden, you know, a wave of fire comes up before us, and of course we aren't able to get any closer. Some sort of black magic going on there. Now, when I was younger and I was playing this over and over again, and when I was more comfortable with the controls of the game, I would drop down huge sections of this ladder, and then catch before I hit the ground. But since I'm doing Minimalist and I only have 3 hearts to work with, I don't really want to chance that, so I didn't do it this time. I just crawled all the way down. So now we're into Dungeon 2 of being an adult. And this one is kind of a doozy, just the same as the others, as the Forest Temple. There's a lot of ways you could go at first, and could get real lost real quickly. But first and foremost, we see our good friend Darunia here. I wonder what he's going to talk about. We never did get into the whole what Darunia was thinking about talking to us once we grew older. You know, what did you have in mind to talk to Link about? The game never expands upon that. I mean, what's more important, of course, is this fire-breathing dragon. He's eating up all his friends and family, so that kind of hits the top of the list there of what you really need to talk about at this point in time. Man, he's pretty gutsy, though. He's like, I'm gonna take on the boss, the dragon. You go on ahead and save my people. I got this. He don't got this. The fact that he has a boss key of all things just to enter that door, and he doesn't even bother to kind of drop it outside the door like, hey, here's my spare that I got from somewhere else in the dungeon. Nope. He just takes the boss key in with him, and now you gotta find another copy for yourself. Okay, so what he's talking about is not something I readily got right off the top. It took me a while to figure out what exactly that particular Goron was talking about. What he's talking about is that red pillar right up there in the center, and how it goes in that hole in the floor in the middle of all that lava. That is the pillar he's talking about, and that is what's going to help you jump across to the other side where you saw Darunia. But of course you're going to have to go above this room and figure out where to go from there. On the bright side, I don't have to worry about a shield that's going to burn up when any of those geese hit me. Oh yes, this big room. There's a lot of ways to go, a lot of things to do and see in this particular room. Obviously, you want to hit the two sides first before you move on straight ahead. And getting to each side can be a little tricky. In fact, I think this side has two different areas you could go to. Typically, when you see these little rock wall formations with torches on the side, little torch scones and everything, you know you're in an area with trapped Goron. So you're going the right direction if you see these textures on the walls. Yes, and this is something that was introduced in The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, where you could hit or tap walls with your sword, and they would sound different if they were bombable. And so basically, this Goron is kind of reminding you, or reminding players of the previous games, that hey, you can do the same thing here. You can tap walls that look suspicious, and if they sound different, you can use this special crop, aka bombs, to get rid of them. Now, of course, there is Song of Time block here, the little time block, and we all know what to do with that. Yeah, I figured I'd probably want to step back a couple paces. And that just provides an easy way up. Ah yes, and the floor tiles, floor panels, make a reappearance from Link to the Past. They're not as numerous and as annoying as the ones in Link to the Past, because they can all be blocked with the shield, but they make an appearance nonetheless. And I stupidly get my shield and the tunic too. The shield and tunic was stolen. I was freaking out. I was like, no! Give that back! Because the rest of this dungeon would have been horrible if I did not have that shield, and yeah. So I was freaking out. I was like, do I have to reset my game? Do I have to reset the recording on this particular segment? So obviously reapply that, because any major room with lava in it, you're not going to survive very long. And I think, what was it? Last video was like 22 seconds I was going to survive. Yeah, that's not enough time to do anything. Now getting back can be a little hard. Obviously there's no easy way back other than kind of hop-skipping over some lava. So we're going to figure out a different way across. Obviously I'm not doing so hot. I used to have a system when I went through this particular dungeon. I knew exactly where to go, what platforms to jump on, and the best ways to get across. This was not the best way, but the best way to get across this room to get to all the points I needed to get all the keys. Here, this is me trying to refigure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, because I knew I needed to get to the other side, over to the left here. It's just trying to get there was the problem. Nope, didn't work. Thankfully, Link has some miraculous boots of fire resistance right there. I mean, he didn't even take any damage. It was just his boots were burning and he wasn't feeling nothing. I didn't lose any hearts. This is what we're talking about. these odd, strange walls. And if you were to smack them with your sword, they'd even sound different. But this just looks weird. So you don't even really need to smack the wall at all. You can just be like, yeah, that's suspicious. Bomb it. They all pretty much say the same thing at first, but each one gives you a tip for later in the dungeon. So basically what this tip is telling you is that those crystal switches that we've been hitting can also be attacked or flipped on or off using other types of items. You can use the hook shot, you can use the bow and arrow, you can use your sword, you can also use the bomb if you need some sort of time delay to have it activated, which is very important later on in this dungeon. Now this is me trying to figure out the best way to get back to the main bridge. That didn't work out. That didn't work out either. This is me going, oh gosh! I am just failing so bad. I'm usually not this bad at the game. I swear I'm not. I was just having a little trouble today, and since I said I haven't played this in many, many years, a lot of it was coming back to me as I was playing, and I was just like, how do I do this part again? Thankfully, if I remember correctly, there was some hearts up at the top here. This is me hoping beyond hopes that I would find some hearts around the pillars, but alas, they're at the top. And blessed hearts. Now, why I did not collect them, I'm not really entirely sure, but I guess I just saved them for later. Ah, yes. The block is on the other side. It's just easier to just grab onto the side and then work your way across than to try and balance beam all the way across to the other side. Showing that the hookshot is just as well and just as simpler to use than the bow and arrow, where you actually have a limited supply. How Link can move these darn huge blocks, I have no idea. He's got the strength of a demigod, he does. That is very convenient how that worked out. I like how as you go through this dungeon, you get just enough keys to move on to the next section. And if you're missing a key, you obviously have missed a Goron. Now we introduce some torch slugs, which are awesome little sources of magic energy. Every single one you kill drops a magic container. It's awesome. Not that we're using much magic at this point, but whatever. Ah, here's one of them crystal switches. So that removes the fire up there, but probably for a limited amount of time. So this is probably where you want to drop a bomb to have a little time delay to it. We've got to get up there first. See, that wasn't a lot of time at all. So obviously this block has something to do with it. You kind of use it to kind of jump at an odd angle for this. And there's the fire pit in question. We want to get up there somehow. So this is where that tip from the Goron comes in handy. If the camera will cooperate. Of course! because camera does not want to cooperate, we fail. This is me still failing because of the camera. Telling you, man. This first Zelda game, don't get me wrong, they got the camera right 98% of the time. But this is that 2% where the camera is not working with you. Like, seriously. Okay, drop the bomb down there. Quickly climb up. By the time you get to the top floor, it will have activated. That should give you enough time to get there before the fire pops up back up and knocks you back to the ground. And trust me, my first time playing this game, I know for a fact I failed multiple times at this particular thing. I was using hookshot too, which doesn't give you enough time delay to get back up to where the fire, reignites, before the fire reignites. It took forever to get past that part, and I hated it. Especially if I died and had to restart from the beginning of the dungeon. Oh, gosh. It's awful. This is kind of a quasi-useful tip. Okay, I guess it is a good tip. They tell you how to get rid of the doors. I mean, yeah, you could figure out that there's false doors because they kind of wobble and then fall down on you and they hurt you. But what you probably wouldn't know what to do is to bomb them. So I guess that Goron did really give you a good tip. How to get rid of those doors. Oh, that was fun. Nice smack in the face. Oh, yeah, wrong way. Wrong way. This is me figuring out the one true path through this. Yeah, I'm not making good decisions right now. Not at all. I was seriously questioning where I needed to go next. I knew there were multiple Gorons in this room. I wasn't sure if it was 2, 3, or even 4 that I could get to in this room at this point. Oh, that's useful. I mean, it's not anything useful in actually completing the dungeon itself, but, you know, if you're on fire, which you very well may be at some point in this dungeon, at least that's a quick way of getting put in. I mean, it does make sense, putting out the fire. Stop, drop, and roll. Rolling was the fastest way to get rid of it. Don't know about swinging your sword, though. Seems kind of sketchy. And this is me checking all other avenues, making sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, looks like I have not. And I got hit by a rock for my troubles to make sure. And with that, we're actually coming up on our time for this particular video, and looks like a good space to stop, just in case I make a mistake and I fall. So let's hope I don't do that in the next video. Until the next time, everybody, see you later.